Close your eyes for a minute, close your eyes for a second. I won't change my mind.
Hi guys, we have definitely moved on from the kiss gate, and I'm like, how did I miss the conclusion of this? This guy just left us on a cliffhanger. There is no solution, there is no conclusion as to who kissed who, where do we go from here. They've moved on, and I am like, no guys, hold up, you need to answer some more questions. But I guess probably will not get the answers up until the reunion. Anyway, let's get into the swing of things. That was episode 14 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hi Posh fam, welcome back to my channel, and we are on the episode that was episode 14 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Before we get into the talking point that was this episode this week, let's do some housekeeping, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Thank you for watching though. But however, I want you to complete the circle by subscribing to my channel. It will mean the world to me if you subscribe to my existing service. Thank you for staying on course, the Posh Farm train. Again, share, like this channel, and always comment. Like I said, I always appreciate. Thank you for the support. And with that said, let's get into all that went down in episode. So the commentary, just sort of started off with Drew apparently organizing a mental health retreat for Alison, her sister, who had a mental health breakdown, I think a couple years back. Now, we do not know the catalyst for her mental health breakdown. I guess we uncovered a little bit, or when she decided to delve in or share part of that her life story with us. And this happened in the retreat. We're going to uncover this as we go with the commentary. First things first though, the concluding part that was Kissgate just ended in a cliffhanger. We know at Candy's event, Latoya and Drew and Candy, as well as Malo, all had a conversation regarding who saw what, who didn't see what. It eventually led to an interview that happened 2 years ago with Candy and Latoya. Latoya was like, no, we didn't kiss, and Candy sort of backtracked a little bit and said, if I had misrepresented the situation, not saying if I did not see, she said, if I had misrepresented the situation, then I apologize. So what that meant is, I saw you guys did something, and if it's not what I thought I saw, then I'm apologizing. And that was it. So we do not know the conclusion of this particular Kissgate. I guess by the reunion, or come the reunion, we're going to probably get more insight that will be shared by this housewife to conclude this drama that supposedly stemmed 3 years ago at the Bolo event. Anyway, Sanya has got big news, and what a way to share this big news with her family. She started off trying to get Ross into committing to a schedule, giving Ross a book, and in the book, or inside the book, had the strip test of her pregnancy result. He was happy, over the moon. We all know he really wanted this baby so bad, I guess, to clamp Sanya's wings for some reason. Sorry guys, I should not have said that, but I feel that's what it is. Anyway, she's pregnant now, and they had to sort of go downstairs to share the good news with the rest of the clan. And yes, of course, Sanya is very dramatic, and so we knew she was going to have a dramatic reveal, which she did by turning around and having the other members of her family to decode exactly what was written on their t-shirt, except for her mom, who did not get the message. She was like, what's going on here? You guys, I'm lost. And they had to do like over and over again before she could come to terms that what was written on her daughter's shirt, behind her daughter's shirt, was actually confirming that they are expecting. So good luck with this whole baby making thing. Now we move on to Drew. Drew is now having a date night with her husband Raph. I guess it's a welcome, it's necessary, given that they are going through the motion at present. It's obvious, it's now obvious to everyone that they are not in the same space. They are not in sync at all. Now during this particular dinner date, Drew had to let Raph know that she is now, let me use the word, booked and busy. There is the dropping with Drew that's now in the works. There's the mental health retreat she's planning for Alison, her sister. And she just signed a deal for towards the past movie. And so she will not be around to look after the baby. I guess this just rubbed Raph the wrong way. And I'm going to play a snippet from this particular scene. And this exactly right here is, it might not be the remote cause for their breakup. However, it has an effect, or it's impacted or resulted in the reason why these two are no longer together. And I'll tell you why. I guess Raph probably was the breadwinner essentially throughout the marriage. And now that Drew is now sort of gaining momentum in terms of making waves for herself and finding, should I say, opportunities and growing through the Housewives franchise, Raph is now sort of left behind to sort of pick up the pieces. And it has changed the dynamics of the household. And Raph, being the macho man that he is, doesn't like this at all. And I think this is where Drew is not recognizing that you have sort of outgrown your husband. I'm sorry to say this, but it happens a lot where some men cannot stand that their wife has sort of outgrew them and is now earning more. It's like having opportunities to earn money. And this right here is very uncomfortable for Raph. Raph is refusing to even help when it comes to their children, which is quite sad. Now, there was no resolution from this particular dinner date because you could see Rapha's body language. He was closed in. His hands were pretty much closed in. He was very rigid. And he showed he wasn't receiving whatever Drew was selling. And for me, that just said, Drew, keep saving money because this doesn't look well. We now know, or we can now confirm, that all of this was part of the problems that were inherent in their situation that has now led to them going their separate ways. But I feel so bad that it has to come to this because at the end of the day, it's not really about them, it's about the kids. And if you can work out your differences, seek help, which I think they have, although Drew is saying that she stayed on with the counseling session, Raph pulled off because he wasn't ready to accept his own wrong. He wasn't ready to accept or be accountable for his part in the breakdown of their marriage. On from Drew's and Raph disaster date night. We are in Casa, Kenya. Kenya is inviting Candy and Shemia. Shemia is a friend of the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. She's been a friend for a while. We haven't really seen her in few seasons now, but she has maintained a good friendship with Candy, Kenya, and a few other housewives in the franchise. And so Kenya inviting Candy and Shemia over is not a surprise. Now, the part that I wanted to actually share more was the juicy details that came from this launch. Now, we all know that Kenya has been talking about wanting to have a baby. So she decided to share with the ladies that she is really now considering having this child. They had to have a conversation about the complexity regarding the embryos that is still left. Apparently, Kenya is the sole signee to retrieve those embryos and use them for when she would need them. And the conversation then went on to surrogacy. We know that from the conversation Kenya had with her obstetrician gynecologist, it was revealed that it's going to be a very high risk pregnancy if she were to go ahead and carry the baby to term. It probably would be very high risk, and the option of surrogacy was the best alternative for her to take. And so she obviously knows that Candy had her baby Blaze through surrogacy, and Shemia also did the same. And I guess who best to give you expert advice when it comes to surrogacy and all of the complexity that, you know, involves or surrounds or, you know, you go through when you want to have someone carry your offspring. And I guess it was a good conversation to be had because Candy and Sanya have been through it, so they know exactly what's at stake and what Kenya needs to avoid or do or whatever. So, but that conversation moved on quickly to the fact that Sheree had a birthday celebration and excluded some of the girls. Who was excluded? Candy, of course. Kenya, of course. I think Drew was also excluded. No surprise there. We can now clearly see the divide in this group. I think we'll get to uncover because she was confronted. Sheree was confronted as to the fact that she chose who she chose to come or attend her birthday celebration. But that's not the gist. The gist was that Martel, her boyfriend, was supposed to host the celebration. Not clear now. But the one thing that happened was he was demanding the girls cash up the bill. I think the bill was $1,500 and he refused to pay and insisted that the girls pay their own bills while he pays for his girlfriend. I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I can't speak on this. I can't. That's because where I'm from in Nigeria, men oftentimes are responsible for things like this. Okay, they foot the bill. However, personally, I can understand, and I have never gone on any event or any dinner date or any lunch without going with my own cash because I hate to be embarrassed. And so emergency fund when you go out with friends is necessary. So Martel refusing to pay and the girls ended up footing their own bill kind of shows who, tells you his character, speaks about his character. And the girls had a good laugh with this whole situation. For me, Sheree is not ashamed, and I don't know, Sheree has always had a poor choice when it comes to men. Can't really blame her, it's just, you know, she picks the wrong ones. Martel, again, saw no shame in not honoring his partner's birthday dinner with friends. But again, like I said, it's a very hard one to speak on. I don't want to get involved, but that's exactly what happened. We then move on to Candy and Drew. Now, this is the first time they are having a conversation post Kissgate, and now they are having a first read for the movie that they are about to shoot, which is The Past. First read seemed to go very well, and I guess it's looking like a success. Moyeta is on this movie as well as Sanya. I really don't know how it's gonna go, but I hope that it comes out and I can see it and comment on the movie. Todd is so proud of his baby, and rightfully so. I wish him all the best. Now we can see Sheree post her birthday celebration taking her dog Gotti to a doggy grooming place, and here Martel rang, and I guess the conversation that stemmed from Candy and Shamia as well as Kenya about the fact that Martel refused to pay for the dinner saw production asking her what Martel got her for her birthday. I want you to watch this particular clip.
I don't want to say this because I don't keep it, but he doesn't buy the expensive high-end later.
Now, see, she claims Martel got her an Alexander McQueen bag. Catch the lie. Do I think that Martel got her a bag? Nah, Martel didn't get her anything. That is an evidence right there, because the way she fumbled her words and was trying to quickly, you know, salvage the situation by saying, oh, he got me a Alexander McQueen bag. I mean, like, if someone gets you something that, I mean, it's not that long ago this whole thing happened, you would say it without blinking an eye. He got me a bag. Oh, he got me a shoe. He got me a wristwatch. It's not that hard. But the fact that you had to stumble, slaughter your words, and then tell us, trying to convince us. Girl, please. He didn't get you anything. Just stop. Sheree, actually feel for her now. Like, I do feel for her. This isn't going to end well, but then that's her life. You know, it is what it is. I still think this guy is more for storyline. They all do it. So she's just keeping up with her parents for her storyline and the fact that she needs the pitch. She needs to stay on the show and she needs a storyline. Martel is her storyline. So we're going to work with this. So the penultimate scene was the retreat that was organized by Alison and Drew. The ladies arrived, guests arrived in style, and it went left quickly because we saw Raph coming in and Drew proceeding to hug. I don't know if it was hug Raph or hug Ross, but Ross came, in front of Raph, and Drew ended up hugging Ross. At the same time, she tried to hug her husband, and Raph walked off, hugged everyone else except her. Okay, the last time we saw the two of you was the dinner date that went to hell, or that did not go down well. And now here you guys are, not even able to pretend for your guests. Wow, it is really bad. I didn't think it was that bad, but it is. And Drew everyone else noticed it because it was obvious. Drew then even had to try and salvage the situation, but it had already happened. I'm not sure, you know what, we're going to be uncovering the breakdown of this relationship, which is quite sad for me. I do not want to say anything negative or even mock them, but it is just sad to watch, to see how these two, are just struggling to be in the same space. The retreat went on well. Alison went on to reveal that the breakdown of her own marriage was part of the catalyst that saw her having a mental breakdown, and the fact that she sought help. She called the hospital and she was then taken into a psychiatric ward where she spent, I think, 19 days, and then a follow-on care for her mental health continued on. Alison, I am so proud of you. I don't know you, but I'm so proud of you for speaking out on this, because that way it's a sort of normalize what I'm feeling at the moment and what I think or what steps I need to take as I go through my everyday life. And it is not a shame for us to admit that sometimes we do have that breakdown where we need help and we need professional help. We need all that help that we can get to bring us back to a state of mind that we are able to function. So this was a welcome retreat. They had a Zen session, which is oftentimes associated with mental well-being, mental healing, it was just good for the group. Candy was very emotional. I think she said the mental health story resonated for her in the sense that she's been stressed. There's been a lot going on in her personal life and her business life. Again, the woman is a mogul. She is managing multiple businesses at the same time, so of course she will be stressed. And the takeaway from this retreat was that, you know what, it is okay to say you're not okay, and there is no shame in that. The shame is you not identifying where you need help and not asking professional people to help you, because your friends that you think will be there when you are going through it will not be there. They've got their own situation going and we can't really blame them. They don't understand. And so you should know when to say it's time. So the dinner ended with, I think, of course, confrontation regarding the birthday invite. We all know Candy wasn't invited, yes? And so that conversation went on, and Sheree was like non-apologetically saying, well, I know you were booked and busy and so you were not going to come. And Candy was like, well, I would have appreciated you actually extending the invite and not assuming that I wasn't going to show, because on that particular day, I was available and I would have shown up for your birthday. It was just quite sad to see how the dynamics between this group is just falling apart. It's falling apart and it's really sad to watch. And I can see the jealousy and the envy directed at Candy. It's clear. She's the most successful one, I guess, maybe most paid. And so the other ladies are just resentful and envious of her status in the group and they don't like it. It's just it happens, guys. It happens. Women are their own worst enemy, and I'm so sorry to say this, but it does happen. And the conversation then went on to Drew's litigation. Apparently, they've, I think, final words, final decisions have been stated in front of the judge. Now they are waiting for a verdict. Again, the story is a little bit inconsistent. A lady came in to help them as a nanny as well as a chef, and they found a lot of mistakes in her skills and relieved that of her duties, and the lady sent them a $1,000 bill. Now we don't know if it's 1,000 or 10,000, because when we saw most of the evidence that was provided by production, it does say 1,000, but then Drew is saying the lady had opted to 10,000. So we don't know exactly what's happening. Hopefully they can get through with this whole litigation and get to the other side of the litigation. The night ended with Drew having a counseling session with Dr. Ken, her counselor, for good knows maybe 2-3 years now. I think this time the counselor was ready to sort of let her know that it is time for her to make the decision. Because the conversation that they had was more to, you can now see that you are doing the work. You can now see that the person you are trying to work with is not willing to work alongside you. And so when is it going to be time that you need to get up and say enough is enough? That was the message I got from Dr. Ken. I do not know if Drew got the same message. However, it is clear to see, it is clear for us to see that Raph is not willing, he's not ready, and not sure if he wants to be on the same page as his wife, or now ex-wife, Drew. That's where it ends, guys. I am looking forward to unpacking episode 15. We are nearing the end of the season. I honestly, there's just not a lot of talking points for this one, although I've tried to stretch it a little bit for you guys. And if you have watched up until this point, thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to stay safe and be focused. See you next week. Bye for now.